Her head was violently shook around and slammed against the back headrest of the ride.
A new lawsuit against Universal over the Stardust Racers roller coaster at Epic Universe.
A road rage shooting in Osceola County. Within the last few hours, the sheriff said it was totally random. What we're learning now about the suspect in custody.
An alligator poaching ring busted in Brevard County. How officers managed to track the suspects down.
And people waited hours in line to get into a grocery store. We'll tell you all about the hype around H Mart.
WESH 2 News starts now with a new cone.
First at 5, we are tracking the tropics and the new data we just got from the National Hurricane Center.
As we watch Umberto move out into the Atlantic, there is a new disturbance that is much closer to us here in Florida that could form in the next few days.
Yeah, first warning, Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi watching this closely. Tony, for now, it seems we'll get some rough surf.
At the very least, that is correct. Yeah, we think that the latest computer model tracks very consistent with yesterday. There's the new cone you guys were just describing, but this is more than likely going to be upgraded during the day on Friday, Invest 94, to either a potential tropical cyclone or a tropical depression. And you can see here just off our east coast. At the very least, folks, we're going to have some rough surf and some dangerous rip currents. The center of circulation is somewhere in here. Hurricane hunters are in there. We'll show you what they're telling us here a little bit later on. For now, though, we want to get you the pertinent information. Very high likelihood that this is going to develop, and as it moves over the Bahamas, the waters are even warmer. That will begin to allow for development here, and we could see some banding beginning Friday night, in fact, per some of our futurecast models. There's the low now on the northern side of Hispaniola. Models take this just east of Miami or just east of Port Canaveral by the time we get to noon or 1 o'clock on Sunday, depending upon which model you like. And then the majority of the models going to South Carolina. There are 1 or 2 outliers that we'll have to keep an eye on. But the bottom line, when you look at the intensity forecast now for Invest 94, there are several models that do bring this to a hurricane. Speaking of which, there's Umberto. This will likely become a hurricane here very shortly. Winds already up to 60 miles an hour. This is forecast to become a major hurricane over the next 24 to 72 hours. We'll take a look at some of the model guidance here and the trends on the models and where we may be leading towards as we go through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday up and down the east coast of the United States. See you guys at 5:18.
All right, Tony, see you then. Meantime, this is a live look from our tower camera at the Stardust Racers roller coaster at Universal Epic Universe. The ride is still closed down as the investigation continues into the death of 32-year-old Kevin Rodriguez Zavala.
WESH 2's investigative reporter Justin Shecker is outside of the theme park tonight. And Justin, you just learned that a new lawsuit has been filed by a local woman who says that her head shook violently while riding that same roller coaster.
Meanwhile, the funeral for Kevin Rodriguez Zavala will be tomorrow. He died after riding the Stardust Racers last week. The medical examiner ruled his death an accident. WESH 2 was the first to break the story last week and has been on top of every development since. Be sure to download the free WESH 2 News app and turn on the notifications to be the first to know about breaking updates.
Tonight, a man is sitting in jail all the way in Miami-Dade County for a road rage shooting in Poinciana. The sheriff told us in the last 3 hours the shooting was totally random. It happened in daylight during the busy afternoon commute. And the person shot at managed to drive himself to the hospital where Chopper 2 caught this video here. His passenger was shot in the face. WESH 2's Lindsay Sablon talked to the sheriff today and is live outside of the Osceola County Sheriff's Office tonight. And Lindsay, you have some new information about that victim?
The sheriff tells me that that victim is still in the hospital, did not know the extent of his injuries, but that man celebrated his 41st birthday yesterday from the hospital. I guess his present, so to speak. The sheriff says the shooter is behind bars. And I do just want to make one clarification and be transparent here. There was a discrepancy between that suspect's name, and we're getting brand new information. His name is Josu Gabriel Astacio. That new information coming from Miami-Dade, who was the arresting agency. I did press Osceola County Sheriff's Office as far as what led their detectives all the way down to Hialeah. The sheriff did not want to elaborate on any of those details, citing it could compromise the investigation. They did tell me that technology and a good description from a witness help solve this case. Covering Osceola County, I'm Lindsay Sablon, WESH 2 News.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. A big break, meantime, in the murder of an 18-year-old woman in Orange County. Sheriff's deputies say they've arrested 2 men in connection to the attack. Jonathan Martinez and Joshua Benitez Rodriguez are in jail in connection to the murder of Karimar Nicole Rios. They're facing charges for second-degree murder with a firearm and shooting into an occupied vehicle. The shooting happened on September 9th on Sand Lake Road near Orange Blossom Trail. Deputies say they found 18-year-old Karimar dead inside her car after she was shot. We saw 2 white sedans getting towed, Karimar's Toyota and a white Infiniti. A judge denied bond for both suspects.
Starting today, people across Florida are allowed to carry a gun openly, but there are some restrictions. There are exceptions at police stations, prisons and jails, courthouses, polling places, government meetings, schools, and bars. We have a full list right now for you on WESH.com. And this all comes after an appeals court said the state's open carry ban was unconstitutional. Controversy is swirling over a plan to sell and transform a massive piece of land in Eatonville.
The town's mayor announced the deal this week, but not everyone's happy. WESH 2's Haley Crumblehome live in Eatonville ahead of an emergency meeting tonight. Haley.
So this is a very significant piece of property here in Eatonville, but it is owned by the Orange County Public Schools, and they are set to vote next week on a deal to sell it to the Dr. Phillips Charities. Now, we're expecting a lot of people to turn out for this. This meeting will get started at 6:30. Covering Orange County live in Eatonville, Haley Crumblehome, WESH 2 News.
1 man charged, more people are wanted in connection to a gator poaching ring.
The spot where investigators say people gather to hunt.
There's people from all walks of life want to do the same. It's very cool.
Plus, the new grocery store in town that's drawing a big crowd with people willing to wait hours in line just to get in.
And the woman to watch on NBC's The Voice with ties to Sanford. And just wait until you hear her sing.
Wildlife investigators are honing in on a group they say is poaching gators.
One of them has been charged when 3 others are being sought in this case on the coast. WESH 2's Greg Fox has the details, and we warn you some of the pictures can be disturbing. And you can give investigators tips by logging on to myfwc.com.
Amazon is settling with the FTC over allegations that it tricked customers into joining Amazon Prime. Amazon will pay $2.5 billion just 3 days into a trial over the FTC lawsuit. And that lawsuit accused Amazon of tricking millions of customers into signing up for Prime and sabotaging attempts to cancel it. All right, the years-long wait is finally over here in Orlando. The popular Korean grocery chain H Mart held its grand opening today. It is on West Colonial near Apopka Vineland Road, and a long line of people waited hours just to get inside. But many people say they heard it was worth it.
Products and services, foods, just really get immersed in the culture out here. And I'm looking around, and there's people from all walks of life want to do the same. It's very cool.
H Mart has everyday essentials, fresh produce, and a wide variety of tasty Korean classics. And it's also a food hall with a lineup of 6 kiosks serving everything from Korean barbecue to corn dogs. Tony, look at them. They're dedicated. They had their umbrellas ready to go. Is that shielding them from the sun or rain?
Well, earlier was the sun. Now it's probably the rain. Corn dogs. Now you got me hungry. You got me thinking about food.
That's what got you hungry? Was a corn dog?
Michelle, it doesn't take much. Come on.
I don't even think I've ever had a corn dog.
What? Oh, no, we got to work on that.
Oh, my God. That was like dead silence.
We got to work on that.
Let me take you back outside. We've got showers.
Isn't that great?
It is. It really is. Plenty of showers and storms out there. And a few of these storms are a bit strong, so we're going to have to watch that carefully. Rain cooled down 76 up there. Daytona Beach, a little bit warmer off towards the west. Let's begin up in Flagler County. This little white box, pretty strong thunderstorm showing signs of weakening now, but impacting Palm Coast back towards Flagler Beach. It will move offshore here momentarily. And then we were watching a strong storm as outflow boundaries collided But it looks like it is showing signs of weakening there. Big push of wind. See that little thin line? That's the air, the wind coming out of these storms now from both Seminole and Volusia County, triggering some more showers here. So we'll continue to monitor that. West Orange, the I-4 corridor, the 429, getting impacted by some rain for the evening commute. But there's the collision now. You've got a flow of air coming to the south. You've got the east breeze. You've got the outflow from those storms. So we could see some storms firing up southeastern Seminole on into eastern Orange County a little bit later on. A couple of isolated showers just west of Kissimmee over towards Celebration. And there's where the outflow may trigger the storms. The Futurecast model is doing, I think, a pretty good job with pinpointing where these storms are going to line up a little bit later on. So we take a look now at your evening planner. 7, 9, and 11, 89, 87, 85 with cooling showers and storms around. Now, let's put Futurecast into motion here. Out the door in the morning, plenty of sunshine. Notice the flow of air. Showers and storms developing along the western side of the peninsula. Remember, we have that front that's dropping south. That's going to push the showers and storms inland and then off towards the east as we get deeper into the afternoon. And just like today, a few of them may become a bit on the stronger side, leading up to the potential for 2-3+ inches of rain in a very short period of time. Afternoon highs tomorrow, just like today, quite warm, 92, 93 degrees through the interior. Back towards the coast, 88 to about 90 degrees, and off towards the south and west could see 92, 93 degrees. All right, let's take Futurecast into the tropics now. There's Invest 94 pulling away here gradually from Hispaniola as we go through the day on Friday, especially late on into Saturday over the Bahamas. You can certainly see a definitive circulation at that point. And that's not that far now to the east of Miami as we're getting into Sunday afternoon. And look at the bands here. These could be coming ashore, especially along the coast. We'll have to watch that. It's definitely going to be some rough surf and seas along the eastern side of the Florida Peninsula. So there's the satellite imagery. Nice blow-up of showers and storms. This is likely to be upgraded tomorrow, whether it's a potential tropical cyclone or a tropical depression. And once that happens, then you'll likely see watches and warnings for the southeastern portion of the United States. I want to jump ahead now to about noon, 1 o'clock. You can see the differences in the speed amongst the models. The H-mod is leading the charge, whereas some of the other models are still in the northern Bahamas. Now, that's going to be critical for a potential landfall, timing-wise, for folks up in the Carolinas, assuming it doesn't change as we get you on into Saturday, Sunday, and on into Monday. So a lot of moving parts there. Umberto getting stronger. Winds now at 60 miles an hour. This is forecast to become a major hurricane as we get you into the next couple of days. In fact, could be as early as Saturday. The good news, the latest computer models, very, very consistent now west of Bermuda and then kind of bending around the right as it meets up with that cold front. So this is what the Euro's doing. It's got a very strong storm, potentially even a hurricane there making landfall up in the Carolinas. And then right behind that, with that high building in, is Umberto. So there's a lot of action just to the east of Florida. That is going to shake up the seas. We're going to talk more about that. The emphasis will be on that over the next couple of days as we try to hone in on what to expect along the eastern side of the Florida Peninsula. 92, 91, 90 heading into the weekend. We get a little bit drier on the backside of those storms and a little bit less humid, I believe, by Wednesday.
First Warning Weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Gary Yeomans Ford.
Okay, many people with Spirit Airlines tickets are wondering what will happen if the airline shuts down operations.
Well, Jeff Roston will explain how you can protect your purchase as Spirit works through bankruptcy.
DeLand police say a mom kept her child out of school for months, and what they found inside her home landed her in jail. I'm WESH 2's Pamela Combe with more on what investigators found during that welfare check.
And you'll want to stick with WESH 2 as our team of expert meteorologists track the tropics. The activity starting to heat up over the next several days.
Telling the story of immigrants here in Central Florida, while at a pivot point in history.
We've never been in a time like this.
See how this Central Florida youth group honors their Latino culture.
With everything that's happening, I fight for change.
Friday at 4 on WESH 2 News. Friday nights, under the lights, on the field, and in the stands. Friday night means high school football. WESH 2 has all the action from across Central Florida. Watch Friday Night Hits, sponsored by Bob's Air Conditioning, Friday at 11:15.
Now at 5:30, we are tracking the tropics with several areas of interest to keep an eye on.
Our first warning, Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi has been watching the data come in day by day. So, Tony, what's the latest?
So, this is a pretty healthy wave behind us right now. We think that it's going to start to come together during the day tomorrow once everything kind of moves away from Hispaniola across the Bahamas. So let's give you the latest information on that now. You can see with our invest there, the winds are at 30 miles an hour. Not that far removed now from a tropical depression. So it's not going to take much to get this one moving along, and we're going to have to watch that here, I think, as we get you on into Friday. And from there, it'll move through the Bahamas and then potentially curl up towards the Carolinas. At the very least for us, and we're working on the wave action and the wave heights graphics here for you right now, that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of. And if it can grow enough, then we may see some fringe outer bands reaching the east coast of Central Florida. So a lot of people asking me today, well, when would it be making its closest approach to Central Florida? That answer would be anywhere between about noon, 1 o'clock to sometime in the evening, depending upon which model you like. And then a lot of the models today have consistently been pushing up towards the Carolinas. There's one outlier that moves into the Jacksonville area. But I want to show you our Futurecast model, because what we're seeing here as we go through Friday into Saturday is the generation here of a tropical depression and some banding over the Bahamian Isles there. And that right there, that is not a tropical depression. At the very least, that's a tropical stormy melta there. And you can see the bands on the northwest side. So that's something we're starting to watch and monitor now with our in-house model. We're also looking at the European and the GFS. I'll show you the GFS a little bit later on. Notice where the Euro is in relationship to our in-house model. It's a little bit more towards the east and the core of the strongest winds going right up into Myrtle Beach. And then right behind that, of course, there is our next hurricane, that is Humberto. So we'll talk more about those local effects, guys, coming up a little bit later on. As again, we're going to be focusing in on the surf. Guys, back to you.
Tony, thank you. And for the latest updates on the tropics from our team of First Warning meteorologists, all you have to do is download our free WESH 2 News app and turn on those alerts for breaking updates on any big storms headed our way.
A DeLand mother is facing child neglect charges after police say her young son was home alone, living in filthy conditions.
WESH 2's Volusia County reporter Pamela Combe read through the arrest report and found out the child hasn't been in school since May.
Ocala police arrested a 30-year-old woman accused of making a school shooting threat. Ocasna Deputat is a former student of Meadowbrook Academy. Police say she's behind a post on social media threatening to shoot up the school. We will get that information in just a moment, but police say school safety is a top priority. Meantime, 2 kids riding motorized bikes in a DeLand neighborhood had a close call with an SUV. Now all 3 involved are facing citations. The close call happened last Thursday in DeLand. The 12 and 13-year-old boys were riding motorized bikes when a black SUV made a sharp turn and hit one of the bikes, as you can see in the video there. The kids jumped out of the way just in time. Officers say the driver got a ticket for careless driving. Now, what Mom Bonnie Johnson wasn't expecting, the kids also got cited for the unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle.
I believe a warning would be the common sense thing to do. You're talking about a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old. And when they hear legal talk like this, it scares them.
Investigators say the bikes the kids were riding don't meet Florida's definition of an electric bicycle. Busy day on the Space Coast. So SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket lifted off just after 4:30 this morning, carrying a batch of Starlink internet satellites. And about 4 hours later, a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket blasted off. That mission was for Amazon's Project Kuiper. If you missed either of those rocket launches, good news. SpaceX planning another one. A Falcon 9 set to send up a batch of Starlink internet satellites on Sunday between 3:30 and 7:30 p.m.
After the recent crosswalk controversy, upcoming Pride celebrations will be especially important to those in the LGBTQ community. Ahead of Space Coast Pride Fest this weekend, we asked how the organizers are stepping up safety during what they call a tumultuous political environment. And coming up tonight at 6, a new look at the damage left behind after a fire tore through a Windermere mansion.
Closed captioning is sponsored by attorney Dan Newlin.
The Space Coast Pride Parade and Pride Fest events will go on this weekend despite the current political climate and losing county funding and corporate sponsorships.
Tonight, we're learning more about new security measures organizers are taking this year. Here's WESH News' Nancy Alvarez. The Space Coast Pride Parade kicks off just after 11 a.m. on Saturday. The festival starts in downtown Melbourne at noon. They've got the details on WESH.com. And looking ahead to the big Pride Parade and Festival in Orlando, Come Out with Pride will be in downtown around Lake Eola on October 18th. Hundreds of people march in the parade each year, and WESH 2 is a proud media partner. If you can't make it in person, you'll be able to watch the parade on WESH.com.
Apopka police officers need your help to get students to and from school. The department put out an open call for donations specifically for new and gently used BMX-style bikes, mountain bikes, beach cruisers, and bikes with multiple gears. The school resource officer of Rock Springs Elementary plans to retire next year, and he wants to make this his biggest year yet by helping his students. Meanwhile, the world's largest bike manufacturer is warning of shipment delays to the United States. The company is called Giant, and it says Customs and Border Protection officials have blocked its imports from factories in Taiwan. The agency cited what it says was evidence of forced labor and abusive working conditions at the facilities. Giant says it will file a petition to revoke the order.
All right, here with First Warning Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi. Tony, a very busy day for you all in the Weather Center.
You know, we're focusing a lot on the tropics, and rightfully so, but there are a lot of storms out there. And I got a great shot over my shoulder here. We'll take that full, and I'll kind of get into this weather forecast. That is a billowing, growing cumulonimbus cloud. Fancy word for developing thunderstorm, by the way, with the chances for showers and storms increasing, especially across the I-4 corridor, and then also East Orlando and Seminole County. A little bit of an outflow producing some showers and storms right through here, and I'll show that to you on the radar. So where it's raining, we're in the mid-70s. Where it's not raining, we're still 85 to about the 90-degree mark. And it was awfully hot out there today before the storms did indeed get going. Good news up here. The strong storms are now weakening and falling apart up towards Palm Coast. A little bit of light rain there. But now everything's transitioned to the south. Remember we talked about that outflow boundary colliding with the other outflow boundary from the earlier storms? Well, look what it's doing. It's sparking up a nice long line of showers and thunderstorms. Lightning count is beginning to grow there. Wedgefield's going to develop south now towards Dallas Boulevard, right over Wedgefield. And then some lighter showers here over towards Ocoee, Dr. Phillips, Windermere. We'll continue to monitor that. Cam just updated some rainfall totals for me. Port Orange, New Smyrna Beach leading the way. But Daytona Beach, Palm Harbor, and Ormond Beach, you're not doing too bad either. So you guys needed the rain. That's fantastic news, by the way. Storms will develop east. Her Futurecast model is doing an excellent job of highlighting where the storms are going to be tonight. Let's take a look at the next 12 hours from 7 to 7. You can see early storms giving way to partly cloudy skies and a mild night for us for this time of the year. So we take a look at the forecast for tonight and tomorrow. A couple showers and storms around. Could be a little bit of drizzle early in the morning there, especially up north. But take a look at the temperatures now. Tomorrow, this is well above normal. Remember, we should be at about 89, not 92 degrees, and that's where we're going to be in the metro areas. And even at the beaches, Friday getaway day, beach time, yeah, I like the way you're thinking. Just get there in the morning, because by the afternoon, those showers and storms will start marching on it. There's the front now as we head into the weekend. This is going to be very, very critical in the future placement of both 94 and Umberto, but more specifically, we're going to have to watch that for this particular fella. The models, the majority of them, do want to take this up into the Carolinas as this stationary front weakest, but for us, for me right now, my biggest concern is going to be coastal beach erosion, rough surf and seas, dangerous rip currents there until we see anything different with the future tracks. That's what we're going to lean on as of right now. You can see the nice little massive showers and storms. This one will likely be upgraded tomorrow. I think once we get north and into the Bahamian Isles here over the next 24 hours, we'll start to see that development. A lot of the models tonight take it just east of Nassau in the Bahamas. That's that big island right there. Probably just due east there, potentially as a tropical storm and then moving up potentially here into the Carolinas. There are one or two outliers that are a little bit closer, and if those do indeed verify, then we would have wind impacts with squalls along the coast, because the intensity forecast by Sunday and Monday has this one becoming potentially a hurricane. Speaking of which, there's Humberto. This is on the verge of becoming a hurricane, will likely do so either late tonight or tomorrow, and then become a major hurricane. That would be the third of the season, which is typically what we would see during the course of the entire season. But for us, for me, you got two big pockets of push of water from two different storms. So all weekend, we'll be watching that. But the impacts here locally arrive Sunday night, Monday, and then on into Tuesday. So let's take a look at how things clear out behind it as we take a look at the coastal 7-day forecast. A little bit drier, I think, towards the middle of next week behind the storm by Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures also coming down, and it might be a little bit less humid.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Closets by Design. Tonight's primetime lineup on WESH 2 is sponsored by Orlando Health ERs. Ready for any emergency with multiple locations across Central Florida. Visit orlandohealth.com/ER.
New at 5, experts say there's a new strange bird flying about they've never seen before. The so-called Grue jay is a hybrid between blue jays native to the eastern U.S. and tropical green jays from Central America. A study published in the journal Ecology and Evolution Shifting Weather says shifting weather over time likely pushed the two types of birds together near San Antonio, Texas.
How cool is that? Pretty cute. All right, the city of Sanford says it is ready to unveil this new sculpture downtown. It's called Bridge to the Future, and it shows 3 kids walking across a bridge made of books. It's supposed to represent imagination, education, and a journey into the future. An official ribbon-cutting ceremony will be held next Tuesday. WESH 2 News at 6 is straight ahead.
Stuart Moore joining us now with what's coming up next half hour, Stu.
Guys, a lawsuit has been filed against Universal Orlando after someone says they were injured on Stardust Racers. This is not related to the death investigation from a writer last week. We speak to the attorney representing this woman, and he describes the injuries they say was caused by the ride. And on a much lighter note, there's a new pup at the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, and the mission is an important one. We're going to introduce you to Echo next at 6.
First warning weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan. Dial # law on your cell phone.